Today I have Rachel here with me. Rachel is a professional cuddler with Cuddlist, and we'll give you all the links for that too. But what Rachel is really here to talk about is asexuality and the big spectrum of that, and what that really means, and also just the ideas of platonic therapeutic touch, right?
Yes.
So talk to us a little bit about that. And then also like your trajectory into getting into Cuddlist too.
Oh yeah, sure.
Yeah.
So a common misconception about asexuality is it's just the complete lack of sexual attraction.
Right.
For some people that's true, and for some people they have no desire whatsoever.
Yeah.
But it's
That's an aromantic, asexual person, right?
Right. They don't really desire a romantic connection or a sexual
They just are
connection. Right.
not feeling it at all.
Right.
Yeah.
And I'm asexual but not aromantic. So
Yeah, you are super romantic.
I'm very romantic.
Oh my god. She's like always the most romantic.
It's true. And I love partnership. But it's always confusing because I feel this romantic attraction, and I always thought like I was broken because there was an element that was missing, which was sexual attraction.
We talked about that before. Like you thought initially that you just were awkward and not really good, quote unquote, good at sex. We'll talk about that in another episode. Good at sex. But then you kind of came to realize that this is your orientation.
Right. And
it's not actually about it's not just about like not being awkward or not really being great at it. It's your orientation.
Right.
Yeah.
So that has a lot to do with the fact that it's really pathologized.
Yeah.
And so you're told that you're repressed or you're broken. And like there's this sort of innate sexuality that you're supposed to feel. And if you don't feel that, you need to be working in order to feel that. Right.
I feel like also like this touches on that. The sex positive community seems to think that always includes sex.
Right.
Sex positive actually really also includes asexuality. It's just the right to choose your sexuality, how you express it, and not being judged for that, whether it's having sex or not having sex, or being, say, like an asexual romantic person who wants to have sex with their partners in certain instances, but just doesn't have maybe the same levels of desires as someone who isn't asexual.
Exactly.
Right.
And I am one of those people. Like, I enjoy sex with a partner that I love.
Yeah.
You know, of course, I won't necessarily initiate it because it doesn't always dawn on me.
It doesn't, like, it's not in your mind.
Right. Because, like, I'm so happy with just being around them and, like, having this like sort of platonic touch like that.
Connecting with them.
And that's good for me. But I think, you know, one of the things I do enjoy about sex is feeling close to that person, because like I know in society as it is, like that is sort of like a signifier of like true connection and romance, and whether or not that's correct or should be, I still sort of like enjoy that kind of connection. And I think like the hardest part for me right now is sort of trying to assert my asexuality, because it's so new to me, to like knowing that it's my orientation.
So when you say asserting your sexuality, just for folks who are watching who may really not know anything about asexuality, and this maybe this is your first time like delving into the information. When you say, you know, exploring your sexuality, or when you're a asexual person, what does that really mean to you? Okay, you're an asexual romantic person, so you want human connection, you like human touch, but what does that mean for you with exploring your sexuality, since that's not really something that's like, you're not going to be initiating that yourself, but you do it with other partners? What does that actually mean to you then?
Right. So now that I know that I'm asexual and I don't have to force myself to like have sex and push myself, I'm more inclined to try to find partners who are okay with not having sex. And so that might look like a poly relationship. Where I'm dating somebody and like I have this connection with them and we're close, but they're getting sexual needs elsewhere.
Met in other places.
Exactly. Right. And so it just sort of like I have to explore these new types of relationships that I had never considered before.
And this is all pretty new for you,
Very
like
new
over the
for
last
me.
few months, right?
Right. And that is sort of how I found Cuddleist, because I realized that I was asexual, and I felt so relieved. And then I felt good personally, but I'm still surrounded by this very sexual world.
The world is so sexualized. Everything. Freaking hamburger ads. Like everything.
And so
it's just a hamburger, folks.
We've sexualized touch so much that if you are not in a sexual romantic relationship, then you are often not
like
having
you don't
the
get
touch you need. Right.
And then we could talk about skin hunger.
Exactly.
And like how hardcore and real skin hunger is, which is skin hunger is just that sort of that feeling of needing to be touched. It's not necessarily a sexualized thing. It's just like literally needing affection, needing touch, and connection.
I mean, when we're born, we need our mothers to hold us. That's a very real thing.
Yeah.
And it can be really psychologically damaging if we are not held enough when we're little. That doesn't change. That doesn't go away.
No. That's like a constant on the spectrum of life.
Right. We've just sort of like eradicated touch from like what we experience.
Right.
Unless we're in a relationship.
Unless it's sex.
Right, exactly.
In the most, simplified terms of the word sex. Yeah.
So like a lot of the cuddling I do is very therapeutic and healing for people who maybe experienced sexual trauma and need to like ease back into learning how to accept and receive touch and like assert boundaries. But also, I do it because there are so many people who just don't get touched and they just need like a hug.
Right, so. And they needed to not be charged with the expectation of something going into something else.
Right, exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
So you just started getting back into the dating world.
Yeah.
I feel like that could be a whole separate video.
Asexual dating.
And actually putting the word asexual on your dating profile.
It's really important to me to do that.
Yeah, because it's your life. Yeah. And you don't want to like meet somebody and then like them and have it be awkward or not a good match because they weren't aware of this to begin with.
I really want to start the option to not have to fuck somebody.
Should
I feel inclined? That's awesome, but I want to have that option of not doing it.
Yeah, I know we've talked before about the fact that you pushed yourself a lot throughout most of your adulthood.
Yeah.
And that actually you felt like you were traumatizing yourself.
Definitely.
By pushing yourself into doing something that didn't feel right to you.
Right. Like the sex wasn't traumatizing because it was
consensual.
Traumatizing sex. Right. It was traumatizing because I'm asexual and I was like really trying to fix myself and force myself to do this.
Like putting a square peg in a round hole.
Right. Yeah.
Well, thank you so much for speaking with us. We're going to put a link down the bottom to Rachel's Cuddleist page, and also Rachel is starting a blog. Do you want to just quickly name the blog?
It's Navigating a Sexy World.
Yeah.
It's just sort of me as an asexual moving through the world.
So there's going to be a blog. There's her Cuddleist page, and also you can check out the Asexuality website, which is
96 at WordPress.
Yeah, and there's also, of course, Googling all the different asexuality.org websites, because it is a spectrum and it presents in very different ways. It doesn't just mean you don't want sex at all. There's a huge and diverse spectrum with with folks with an asexual orientation, and we invite you to explore that further if you feel like that relates to you.
Thanks for having me.
Thank you so much.
Yeah. I love you. Awesome.
I love you too, darling. Thank you so much for watching, everybody, and we'll see you next time.